If you've ever been paralyzed by analyzing every possible outcome before making a move, you need to hear about the young man who bought a general store in New Salem, Illinois in 1832, watched it fail completely, and went bankrupt. Abraham Lincoln lost his job, failed in business, was defeated for state legislature, rejected for land officer, defeated for Congress nomination, and lost 2 Senate races. Yet instead of overthinking each failure into permanent paralysis, he kept taking action. His persistence through repeated defeats reveals the antidote to overthinking that modern psychology is only beginning to understand. Your brain would start spiraling, analyzing what went wrong, replaying every mistake, convincing yourself you're not cut out for success. Lincoln's business partner died, leaving him liable for $1,000 in back payments, and creditors sued him, seizing his horse and surveying gear. Without modern bankruptcy laws, Lincoln had to work out a repayment plan himself. It took him many years to pay off the debt. Yet instead of retreating into analysis paralysis, he immediately pivoted to his next move, running for the Illinois state legislature. He lost that election in 1832. Most overthinkers would take this as confirmation that they were right to doubt themselves. Lincoln ran again. He won in 1834. When his sweetheart Anne Rutledge died in 1835, he suffered what historians call a nervous breakdown in 1836, the kind of devastating personal loss that would send most people into months of rumination about fate and failure. Lincoln persisted, defeated for Speaker in 1838, defeated for the congressional nomination in 1843, finally elected to Congress in 1846. He ran for the U.S. Senate and lost twice. Each defeat would give an overthinker's mind endless material, dissecting every campaign decision, every speech, every handshake that might have changed the outcome. What modern psychology is discovering about Lincoln's approach? He treated each failure as data, not identity. While overthinkers get trapped replaying past mistakes, Lincoln was already planning his next campaign. He did not let these obstacles, including business and personal bankruptcy, discourage him from pursuing his dreams. He understood something that neuroscience now confirms. Action interrupts the overthinking loop that keeps us stuck analyzing problems instead of solving them. Given Lincoln's 17-year debt repayment and multiple political defeats, do you think you'd have the mental stamina to keep running for public office after losing that many times? Drop your answer in the comments below. This persistence through failure is exactly what separates action takers from chronic overthinkers. But here's what all those failures built. After Lincoln's Senate defeat, he spent the next 16 months traveling across the North, making campaign speeches for Republican candidates, building a network of politicians who became indebted to him for his support. Every loss had taught him something about messaging, about voters, about timing. When the 1860 Republican Convention arrived, Lincoln, on whose sole national experience was one term in the House of Representatives, defeated frontrunners William Seward, Salmon Chase, and Edward Bates for the presidential nomination. Your overthinking brain would obsess over being the underdog. Lincoln understood that his years of defeats had actually been his qualification. Each failed campaign had forced him to refine his message, expand his network, and develop the political instincts that seasoned politicians took for granted. His speaking style avoided wordy moral rhetoric in favor of clear and simple logic, a skill honed through years of having to win over skeptical audiences who remembered his previous losses. Lincoln won the 1860 presidential election in a four-way race, receiving less than 40% of the popular vote but easily winning the Electoral College. The man who had failed in business, lost multiple elections, and spent 17 years paying off debt became the 16th president of the United States. Not despite his failures, but because of what those failures had taught him about persistence through uncertainty. Here's the lesson your overthinking mind needs to absorb. Lincoln didn't succeed by analyzing his way out of setbacks. He succeeded by continuing to act while processing them. Each defeat became data for the next attempt, not evidence to quit. While your brain wants to replay every mistake until you're paralyzed, Lincoln's approach shows you the path forward. Acknowledge the failure, extract the lesson, Then immediately focus on your next move. The presidency wasn't the reward for avoiding mistakes. It was the culmination of learning from them without letting them stop his forward momentum. Subscribe for more psychology-backed solutions to overthinking and watch this one next.